quite some time, but we really want to give him the experience of being a super legit candidate. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we have Luis Portelles, Mister Supranational Canada 2023.
Yes.
Alright, so if you have any questions for Luis, now is the time to go for it. Now let me. Alright, ask all the questions, everybody. Please sit down.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming, guys. First of all, is that okay? And Danny. Okay. So who's going first? Let's go. Let's go, Kiana. Yeah.
What has been your biggest challenge while training for Mister Supranational?
I think that for me personally, discovering the entire process of what it's like, what it takes to prepare for an international pageant, especially when it comes to the male part of things, which I don't cover so often on my channel, I thought that preparation for men was quite easy. But in reality, it's really like a very, very intense workout. It takes a lot of hours of training. And I mean, I've been literally here in the Philippines for 8 months, training for at least 4 or 5 months at this point. So just to give you an idea of how much work goes into it. So that's been the biggest surprise so far. Thank you.
Why did you choose Philippines as training ground?
Yes. So of course, everything that I know about pageantry started here in the Philippines. So when I came here initially back in November, I had an idea that maybe this was going to happen, but nothing was confirmed. So for me, it was kind of a full circle moment when I got the news that I was going to participate and join Mister Supranational while I was here in the Philippines, and having the opportunity, of course, to prepare where everything started for me. It was just an opportunity that I felt like the universe just brought me here, and it was a full circle moment precisely. So.
Luis, I have a few questions. I want us to start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Alright, first of all, you are representing Canada.
Yes.
We know you as a vlogger.
Yes.
But please let everyone know what really is your background.
Okay. So let's say on a day-to-day basis, I'm not necessarily a full-time blogger, as a lot of people think. I work for a financial institution in Canada. So I work with them to make sure that compliance is respected, that everything is working, that people are, doing their job pretty much. So that's pretty much my background. I started my YouTube channel during the pandemic because I was working from home. I had lots of free time, and that's how pretty much I decided to, just use my creative side and get into YouTube. So one thing led to another. I started reviewing music, then slowly but surely like pop culture, interviews, pageantry, and here we are.
Luis, I'm also a vlogger.
Okay.
But I did not go out of my way to become an official candidate. How did this happen? I mean, was this offered to you? Did you actively seek the franchise? And why are you representing Canada so much?
Yes. So I think honestly the idea first came to me because as a pageant fan myself, not just a vlogger but as a pageant fan, I really feel inspired by the people in pageantry, the candidates and things that they do, and that's really the reason why I feel like I fell in love so much with pageantry. So after being impacted by them so much, I decided that maybe I can give this a try. So I started inquiring about it. I started reaching out to the organization. Initially I tried, but I didn't get any replies. So I was like, maybe it's a sign. But then eventually, I did get the information of how the procedure was. And I decided to go for it. So it was a lengthy process. There was a selection process, of course, because there's no national organization in Canada per se, but people can still present themselves to the organization directly. So that's what I did. A few other people also did, and ultimately I got the opportunity to represent the country and the license as well.
Alright, so yeah. Shay, you have a question.
Hi, Jay.
What was your first reaction the moment the organization accepted you as one of the official candidates of Mister Supranational?
Yes. I remember it as if it was yesterday. I was actually sitting in my bed. It was probably 2 a.m. This was a few days after New Year's here in the Philippines. and I opened my laptop because I knew the email was coming that day. So I opened my laptop, saw the email, it was positive, and I was so happy. I just got out of bed, jumped for a few minutes, went back to bed because it was so late, and I fell asleep. The next day, I woke up in denial. I was like, what did I just do? What did I get myself into? But ever since, I never looked back. Honestly, I just started preparing myself, looking for help, people that could guide me in this journey. And so I started officially preparing in terms of runway walk and all of those things. It was early March, so it's been a few months already. Thank
Right, we
you.
have Jason Cappuccino of San Francisco.
Hi, Jason.
So, you said earlier that you had a casting for the Mister Supranational.
Yes.
Why Canada? Why not Cuba? Because I understand that your heritage is Cuban.
Yes, absolutely. I also get that question quite often. To be honest, there was a few things that went into it. First of all, so I knew that I was eligible for both Cuba and Canada. However, Cuba had just won the pageant the previous year. I did inquire about Cuba, as a matter of fact, but they told me that there is a pageant that is held in Miami every single year for this. So, and I knew that by that date, I was gonna be in the Philippines already. So it was gonna conflict with that. So also taking into consideration that Canada had not participated for 3 years, I thought it's an opportunity to bring back the country to Supranational. And at the same time, I grew up in Cuba. I was born and raised in Cuba, but I became the man that I am today in Canada. Ever since I was 13 years old, I've been in Canada, and it's kind of ironic because I'm technically 27 years and a half, and I've lived half of my life in Cuba, half of my life in Canada. So,
And also, it's interesting your background from finance to finance and how to actually compete. How did that happen? And that switch must have been like,
I know, right? So initially, what I studied in university, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in communications. So I really come more from a creative background. That's really my cup of tea, what I feel really comfortable with. But I was already working for a bank while I was studying in Canada. I graduated in early 2020, middle of the pandemic. So all jobs in communication, whatnot, were really rare. So I stuck with the financial side of things, which provided me, security, stability. So that's where it comes from. But I really think that I'm more of a creative person. That's where I thrive.
okay, just a couple of moments and well wishes from Live to Eat, Eat to Live. Jay Miranda and Oriental Josa, they're wishing you luck in your organization.
Thank you so much.
One last thing.
Of course.
Can you say something in Spanish? Because we wanted, some of my followers are interested to hear you say something in Spanish.
Claro que sí. Bueno, quiero darle muchas gracias a toda la gente que me ha enviado amor y apoyo desde toda parte del mundo, Latinoamérica, Cuba, sobre todo tanta gente que me ha escrito y me han dicho que se sienten inspirados por mi travesía, que se sienten que les he dado una motivación para ellos también seguir sus sueños. Y espero que ustedes sepan también que más allá de que estoy representando a Canadá, también los llevo a todos ustedes en mi corazón.
Hola!
Gracias.
Hola! Okay. Yes, Arvin. Arvin from ENP.
Of your parents and friends back in Canada.
Okay. That was quite something, honestly, because as I said earlier, for me, doing YouTube for me, it was a hobby. It was never like a full-time job for me. So I never really had the conversation with my family about my channel. So they didn't know that I was doing YouTube until the announcement for Supranational came out. So I had to call my dad and have the conversation with him because there was pretty much like photos and things on the newspapers in Canada, so I had to address it somehow. But they were all they were surprised, of course, but they were also very supportive. They told me that, whatever they can do in this journey, they're there for me, and they have actually been really good support system so far for me. Because it's challenging, especially the moment that you go public, challenges start coming in, but I'm grateful that I have so many people supporting.
They will be watching you also.
Yes, of course. They will be watching from Canada. Yes. So I'm going to Poland by myself. So pray for me, guys. But they will be with me in spirit.
When are you leaving? You might want to
I am
give that
leaving.
away.
So I am leaving in a little more than 24 hours, and it's actually bittersweet in a way because, of course, I'm going to wear something that is so um, beautiful that I worked so hard for, and that I'm super excited for. But also, I've been here for 8 months, so I almost feel like I'm leaving my home as well. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh.
Luis. Yeah, oo nga. Ano kasi
Yeah. Advocacy.
Okay, so being a pageant blogger and someone from within this industry, of course, I think that we can all agree. You also speak with candidates quite often. Um, as contestants, we try to, change the world sometimes. We try our best to put forward the causes that are dear to our heart. For me, something that really got stuck with me is that I would always see some of the struggles that the people within this industry have to go through just to be in this industry. All of the bullying, the harassment sometimes, the racism, body shaming. And those are things that I discovered through my interviews, my podcast, Extraordinary Talks. So I decided to use this platform for the From the Ground Up project, which is the platform that Supra promotes, to talk about those things and those issues that we still need to address within the industry. I think that even for us to be taken seriously by the outside world, the general public, we need to really address those things so that we are strong together as a community and that we are able to show our best side. So,
Luis, you're a pageant blogger. Um, I know that you've done extensive research on what you've been saying over these past couple of months. What is one thing that you learned about your preparations? Because Philippine preparations in pageant needs story.
yes.
But now that you are in the middle of your preparations, you're wrapping up your preparation, what did you learn? And is it somehow connected to the stories that are attached to the magic of Philippine training in pageant?
I mean, honestly, something that I learned and that I couldn't have known by any other means is how much passion and effort goes into this. And that when you are going out there, you are not just representing yourself and the country, but you're also representing your trainers, your coaches, the designers that work with you, and the entire people who come behind you to support you and uplift you. What you see here and what you will see in any pageant, when you look at a contestant, is just one person amongst many that have to come together to put that person together and give them the preparation that they need to be their best version in the pageant. So if anything, I take away with me the sense of family that the entire team gave me and that they welcomed me with open arms.
Yeah.
Please imagine that there is an opening statement for Mister Supranational. What would you like to talk about?
In my opening statement, I think that I would like to talk about the issues within the pageant community. I think that, as I said, it's something that we don't really address that much. Sometimes we take certain steps to make it better, but I think that we need to sit down and have an open conversation about, okay, these things exist, they are real, how can we fix them, and where do we go from here?
Arvin?
So what's your comment when someone parang calls that you're too soft for Mr.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Supranational?
I get that a lot too from
Talaga?
DMs. They would ask me about your gender, your sexual orientation, and how that would play in a competition like Supranational. Now would be a perfect time to address that.
Of course. Well, I also get those type of comments a lot. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that regarding my orientation, my sexual orientation, there is nowhere within the Mister Supranational organization, the rules, the contract, nowhere it says that gay contestants cannot join the pageant. So I'm not going against the rules. I'm not being a revolutionary. I'm not the first, and I will definitely not be the last one as well. At the same time, I think that me knowing that I'm going to get a lot of backlash just for being myself within this pageant, this is also a political statement for me, to make a point that gay men deserve space within these areas, that we deserve respect within this industry, and that we can not only represent ourselves fairly, but we can also contribute to this community as well.
Yeah.
So,
Follow up on that, Luis,
Yes.
because it's very important to address that representation matters,
Yeah.
right? So, do you feel that the fan community, the pageant fan community is now much more open for gay contestants joining male pageants?
I think that it's definitely a lot more open than maybe if I joined like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But there's still a lot of work to do. You know, I still get a lot of comments saying, well, you shouldn't go to this pageant, you should go to the other pageant because there's pageant for gay men. And I understand that and I respect that and I uplift those platforms as well. But I think that for us to have the option to also join any pageant that we want, it's not because there's a category for us that it doesn't mean that we cannot go to other places, right? And that is the point that I'm also trying to make. So if people think that I am too soft, that's okay. If they don't see it in me, that's okay. The judges will decide during the final stage.
Follow up on that as well because in the female pageants, lesbian competitors are pretty much okay, more welcome.
Yes.
There's some sort of like special consideration for female pageants because in 2013, Miss Universe first runner-up Lucia from Spain came out. So do you think that there is a certain unfairness that for male pageants, gays like us
Yes.
have not enough space?
Yeah. I think that we still have so much work to do in terms of educating people because a lot of that hate and those comments come from a place of ignorance. And you know, I think that it's normal to fear, to be scared of something that you don't know what it is or that you don't fully understand. So that is why, for me, it's so important to be there for people to see me, you know, regardless of the outcome of the pageant. Whoever comes after me, it will be easier for them just because I went through this experience. Just like it's easier for me because others did it before me as well, right? So that's what it's all about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
And fun from pageant talk, yes.
Okay. So national costume. Unfortunately, there's no national costume segment for Mister Supranational. There is one for the Miss Supranational, but not for Misters. So we'll be there. Huh?
But what would you have worn?
Okay, honestly, I think that if I had the opportunity to have a national costume, it would have been something inspired by the snow and the north of Canada. It's so mesmerizing. I have never been in person, so maybe that's one of the things that I have to check on my bucket list. But I would have loved to show that to the world or the universe rather. Formal wear. Okay, so everything has been selected. I'm working with 2 designers that I'll be taking with me to Poland, 2 Filipino designers, and I'm really excited to show you guys what it is. I cannot share too much, of course.
Not too much. Alright. I want to wrap this one up
Yes.
because I know that you have another round for Supra Chat.
Yes.
But I guess what we want to know is this is a very different setup. We have our dinners every month. You have been to several of our dinners
Yeah.
together. Now it is different. Now we have actual folks interviewing you, making sure that your name is out there. Luis, how has your 8 months in the Philippines been? What did you learn? Is it also the same as what you've been, checking online with how we've been treating you?
Honestly, when I think of my time in the Philippines, it has exceeded my expectations in so many different ways that I cannot even explain. To be honest, when I came here, I did not know what to expect, what was going to happen, what I was going to do. I definitely did not expect to stay for so long. I would say like the first few weeks were rough. The jet lag, getting used to everything. But once I settled in and that I found my groove, I honestly just feel at home. You know, I always said this. I was born and raised in Cuba. Now I live in Canada, and here in the Philippines, I kind of find like the best of both worlds. I am lucky enough, blessed enough to have a good support system, lots of friends. I mean, you guys today are interviewing me and taking videos and photos, but you guys are normally my friends. So we just sit down, have dinner, see each other at events, and I just feel like that's precious, you know. Doesn't matter where I go in the world, I would always bring you guys with me. I bring the Philippines with me as well in my heart, and this is home for me.
All right. Last last thing before we wrap this up, now is your opportunity to thank your camp, your trainers, everybody, and all your supporters. Now might be a good time to also ask them what you need for your success at Mister Supranational this year.
Of course. So of course, super special. Thanks to the entire KF camp, Tito Rajel, who has been like truly my rock in this entire preparation. My trainer Felix Doss as well, who taught me everything from scratch up when it comes to the runway walk. Coach Enan as well has been super supportive. My Q&A trainer Carlos, who is not in the Philippines but is a Filipino as well, and just everyone that at some point took a moment to be a part of this journey. Whether it's you guys as friends, as part of the media, everyone. So I really just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Maraming salamat. And in terms of support, of course, as you know, Supranational has different activities that we have before finals and prelims. So right now we have the Super Chat segment that is coming out. I won the first round, and I'm filming the second round later tonight. So if you guys can vote for that, that will be amazing. Same thing for the Mr. Influencer Challenge that is currently ongoing. So you will find all the details for those things in my social media. So Luis Portelles on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yay! Laban!